So first I will tell you about the broader view, what basically is machine learning is. So in machine learning, we have basically, or we can say there is many types of learning. First one is your supervised machine learning. You are playing the chess among the AI. So whenever you win or human is playing against AI, suppose the human win, then it will be given as a negative or penalty to the. It is a complex machine learning type structure which consists of neural networks or the brains or the neurons which consist of, in which we basically make complex neural networks like the convolution neural networks or the recurrent neural networks RNN, CNN. So basically we make complex structures out of it. You can take that data set which basically consists of labeled data set like the I told you that house price prediction data set, or we can also take the flower data set which basically consists of flower length, flower width, flower height, as well as size and all this. Like there is a petals data set. Like, hi everyone, welcome back to Coding Ninja's YouTube channel. Myself, Rajat Rawat. I am a student at IIT Jodhpur and an upcoming SD at Ninja Kart. So in this video, we'll be talking about basically how to choose projects which can enhance your machine learning skills. So first I will tell you about the broader view, what basically is machine learning is. So there is a bigger sphere, you can say. Okay, so in that, first of all, there is an artificial intelligence which comes outside of the bigger sphere, and then within the bigger sphere there is one smaller sphere which consists of machine learning. Okay, so machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, and inside machine learning there is another sphere which is called as deep learning. So this is complete overview. Like there is a one big sphere which consists of artificial intelligence. Inside that there is another sphere which is consists of machine learning, and inside machine learning there is another sphere which is deep learning. So we can say that the AI or the artificial intelligence is a superset of ML as well as DL, whereas ML is a subset of AI and DL is a subset of ML. You can say like this. Okay, that is a broader thing which is very much confusing, and most students can't be able to understand about this. So that is one thing. So in machine learning, what happens that the machine or basically the model which you made, it learns from the previous data or previous inputs. Basically on the basis of previous what is happened, it predicts the output correspondingly. Like suppose the weather forecasting. So if for our model, if we have given the previous 100 years data, that on which month there is a rain comes, then correspondingly on that previous data it can predict that in the current year in which month the rain will come on the basis of patterns from the previous year data. That is the thing which basically done by the machine learning. It find out the patterns in data, and then basically using the previous year knowledge, it basically use it in the current forecasting or current output it will give depending on the previous inputs. So in machine learning, we have basically, or we can say there is many types of learning. First one is your supervised machine learning. In supervised machine learning, so what happens in supervised machine learning? We have an input and correspondingly we have an output associated with each and every input. For example, suppose we have a house data, house price prediction data. So for each and every house, we have a output corresponding to it which gives us the price of that house. So suppose we have a house, and corresponding to that house we have a price towards associated with each and every house. So you can say that for every input there is an output associated with it. So that is basically called as the supervised machine learning, in which we have an output associated with the input. Next comes is your unsupervised machine learning. As the name suggests, it means that is not supervised. It means that for every input the output is not associated with it. For example, suppose we have a data which basically consists of inputs only, but the output is not given corresponding to it. So for that, basically what we have to do, we have to find out clusters or the patterns. Suppose we have on the basis of various findings in that data. For example, suppose we have 10 points, and out of 10 points, 5 points correspond to one class and 5 points correspond to another class. So we cluster the data, like 5 points correspond to this class, class A, and 5 points correspond to class B. Now, whenever a new data came, we have to find out or classify to which class it belongs to. So it basically find out the patterns from the data, and by using the patterns, it will form the cluster and groups the data in following clusters, so that whenever a new data comes, it will give us in the corresponding cluster to which it fits into. Okay, that is the unsupervised learning. Third one is the reinforcement learning. So reinforcement is basically reward based learning. It is basically used in the games. Like suppose you are playing the chess among the AI. So whenever you win or human is playing against AI, suppose the human win, then it will be given as a negative or penalty to the AI, so that in the next iteration or in the next round, it will be act as a motivation to hit to the AI robot, and it will be able to play better. Okay, so that it can enhance or improve his moves. And if the robot wins against the human, then it will be basically we give it as a reward, as a positive point, so that he know that yeah, this move he has taken, it is good enough, and in the later also it can optimize its move. So it is basically rewards based learning. We give rewards, or we will give penalty to the robot or the AI machine to which we are playing, and it is used in playing games. That is the third one, which is reinforcement learning. The fourth one is the deep learning. So deep learning is basically a complex basically type structure. It is a complex machine learning type structure which consists of neural networks, or the brains or the neurons, which consist of, in which we basically make complex neural networks like the convolution neural networks or the recurrent neural networks, RNN, CNN. So basically we make complex structures out of it, which is basically like the brain like structures and neuron like structures. So the complex models, which basically consist of, basically these are all the parts of the deep learning concepts. Okay, by using these concepts, you can take the datasets corresponding to each and every category. Like for the supervised learning, you can take that dataset, which basically consists of labeled dataset, like the I told you that house pest prediction dataset. Or we can also take the flower dataset, which basically consists of flower length, flower width, flower height, as well as size and all this. Like there is a petals dataset, like petal length, petal width, sepal length, sepal width. So that is a labeled dataset which consists of output corresponding to each and every input. Okay, so that datasets you can use. Another thing which is comes is unsupervised learning. You can use dataset which does not include any output corresponding to input. So that dataset you can use. So in which we have only input, but the not output is there, no output is there. So in that you have to cluster the data, cluster the inputs based upon the pattern out of it. You have to find out the patterns. You have to write an algorithm which will find out the patterns from your data, and then cluster those data in various classes, class A, class B, class C, like this, so that whenever a new data came, it will basically classify the new data in one of the classes. That is basically a classification problem which comes under the unsupervised learning, because it doesn't have any output corresponding to the inputs. And the third, basically reward based, in which you can use the datasets, and you can use basically the algorithms like the min-max algorithm or any other algorithm, basically which basically used to the playing games, or as a reward based. Min-max algorithm is basically like a pruning algorithm, in which basically you can give rewards as a positive or negative as a penalty to the robot. Whenever it wins, it gives as a positive reward, and whenever it loses, it gives as a negative reward or the penalty, so that next time it will act as a motivation to him, so that it will win against the human by changing its moves and get an optimized moves. And the fourth one is basically you can make deep learning. So you can choose those data sets which consist of denser networks, through which we can make dense networks. We can make convolution neural networks, we can make recurrent neural networks, RNN, CNN. We can make, there is a hidden models, we can make complex networks which we can we make like the DLOps, MLOps, and all of these. For those we can use those data sets which can be used for the higher or deeper networks, which we can make neural networks, because these all are DL or deep learning is basically used for making the neural networks out of it. So this is basically how you can take data sets corresponding to each and every problem statement for the supervised learning, for unsupervised, for your reinforcement, as well as deep learning, and everything which you can take. So you can take also, there's something called as pre-processing phase, which we have to do in each and every data sets. Like suppose in some cases, the some of the particular column have contains null values, so you have to eliminate all those null values and find out something like you have to find out, like you can fill those null values by taking the average of that whole column, or something like this, by taking maximum, minimum, or something like you have to apply some statistics out of it. So you have to fill that blank cell. Also suppose there is a column like status, like you have to tell whether it is a male or a female, then corresponding like M is written or F is written. But suppose your algorithm is like this, you have comfortable with numbers rather than characters or strings, so you have to convert all those characters, like M you can convert to 0 and F you can convert to 1. So like this you can do. So you have to do all those pre-processing stuff out of each and every data set, so that it will be beneficial for working out in the upcoming terms, so that you are not able to they won't provide any hindrance in your work also, so that you can have to take care of about the pre-processing phase each and every time, because each and every data sets contains raw data sets. So you have to figure out like for what application you are using and correspondingly how you want that data sets to be, so that you have to pre-process it properly and you can use it in that way. So that's all about this video. Thank you, and if you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment sections. Have a nice day.